Did you know that the conflict in Ukraine set off a chain of events that got the WBC to order Ryan Garcia to fight Isaac Cruz in a title eliminator? Let's chop this up. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
I hear him. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
Hey, what's up with it, fam? It's Hot Boxing Minute, your favorite pharmaceutical engineer turned boxing analyst, back at you with what? That raw, that uncut, that real, because that's the only way I dish it. And I like to serve it cold, ideally. Listen, folks, when it comes to boxing and talking about the sport of boxing, I'm going to make one thing abundantly clear. I love this sport. I celebrate its champions and I celebrate the fighters. If you're into that content where the person drags the sport of boxing, disses fighters, and pitches all kind of narratives, you're not going to like my content. I'm going to warn you in advance. I don't throw shade. I don't throw salt. That's just not how I go about doing business. And to me, that is the biggest, most nonsense, weirdo move anybody that's a creator in this space can do. I don't really understand the idea of claiming you love something but tearing it down. So we're going to talk about Ryan Garcia. Got a lot of respect for that kid. I like what he does, and I like what he's capable of and his potential ceiling. I like Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz came out of nowhere. Well, to the casual boxing fan, he came out of nowhere. Humble brag, y'all, on Isaac Cruz. I was the one that introduced Isaac Cruz to TikTok. The fun part about being me and starting this boxing content creator nonsense at the beginning of COVID was there was nobody else doing it competently on TikTok. There were no boxing analysts. There was video editors, but these video editors are like 15 and 16-year-old kids who are just messing around with software at home. So I have introduced so many fighters on the TikTok platform that ended up exploding overnight. I was the first one to bring Boots Ennis to TikTok. I was the first one to bring Isaac Cruz to TikTok. The fun part about it is I have all the receipts because you can actually go back based on the hashtags and check in the past anyways. So Isaac Cruz became a fan favorite by standing up to Tank Davis, and now we're at this present point. And let me explain to you what's going on. The WBC essentially issued an order demanding that Isaac Cruz and Ryan Garcia being the number 2 ranked guy and Isaac Cruz being the number 4 ranked guy, to fight each other in a title eliminator for the WBC strap that is held by Devin Haney. Now, this is an interesting chain of events. As you know, Devin Haney is wrapped up in the George Kambosos thing, and it could be a potential 2-fight, maybe even 3 fights, depending on how awesome it goes. But it definitely, there's a rematch clause in it. So that belt, that WBC strap, might be caught up in, contractual limbo, in a sanctioning body limbo for like a year. But either way, the number 2 ranked contender, or actually, I'm sorry, the primary challenger for the WBC is Vasily Lomachenko. So you have the belts. You have the number 1 ranked contender, Vasily Lomachenko. Number 2 is Ryan Garcia. Number 3 is Zaur Abdualev. And number 4 is Isaac Cruz. Now, because of the conflict in Ukraine, the number 1 position, we don't have Vasily Lomachenko because he's out there in the conflict. Because of the sanctions imposed against Russia, which the WBC is upholding, they're not going to have Zaur Abdualev either because he's Russian. And the WBC is not going to be sponsoring any Russian fighters. It's weird like that. So we end up with Isaac Cruz, the number 4th guy, and Ryan Garcia, the number 2 guy, as the 2 selected to fight in a title eliminator for Devin Haney's WBC strap. And I love this matchup. They even talked about whispers about a date already set aside potentially for this matchup, July 16th, according to, I don't remember where I got the source, the boxing scene. And I think they interviewed Oscar De La Hoya, and he briefly mentioned that they have that fight date is July 16th. So I love the idea of this matchup. Critics be damned. Ryan Garcia is obviously a talented dude. So is Isaac Cruz. I think it's going to be a phenomenal matchup of styles. You got Ryan Garcia, multiple-time amateur national champion. He has yet to gain a title, though he does have the WBC interim strap. He's got like 5 inches of height, and I want to say at least 3 to 4 inches of reach on Isaac Cruz. He's got the speed, the technique advantage, but it's interesting because when you look at Isaac Cruz, it would be easy enough to say he just gets in there, bulldozes people, but you have to have technique if you're going to take a guy like Tank Davis the entire duration of a 12-round fight. So clearly, there is some method to Isaac Cruz's madness, but he's definitely what you would consider a prototypical pressure application Mexican fighter. He loves those loopy overhand shots and body hooks. So it would be such a phenomenal contrast of style. Anyways, I wanted to ask the boxing community out there, how do y'all feel about a potential fight between Ryan Garcia and Isaac Cruz? How do you figure that plays out? Let me know in the comments section, y'all. Let's chop this up. Hit like if you haven't already done so. Are you not already following my community? Anyways, y'all, that's going to be the end of this video. This is Hot Boxing Minute. Peace.